Thanks, Carl. How many of you remember when you were in school, Fridays were quiz days, right? Yeah? So today what we're going to do to welcome our superintendent and fellow Rotarian, Dr. Ravi Anderson, is a quiz. Ready? We're going to do an easy true false. None of the answers are here, and there's no prize and there's no grade, so let's do it. If it's true, let's do jazz hands. Get them up. That's much better. Okay, good. How about if it's false, let's do like a very stern no face. Let me see him. Willie's not playing. Come on, Willie. There you go. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Ready? Boulder Valley School District is comprised of 30 schools. True or false? Oh, false. 56 schools. Boulder Valley School District covers 500 square miles over 11 communities. True or false? True. Way to go, team. All right. Boulder Valley School District has 20,000 students. You're saying false, but you're not making the face. Come on. There you go. Bill gets the prize for that one. Okay. No. Okay, that's 31,000 students. How many staff members are in the school district? 4,000. Yes or no? Yes. All right, great. Boulder Valley School District's enrollment is increasing. Oh, false. It's true. Boulder Valley School District is embarking on an amazing bond issue that includes improvements to career and technical education as well as sites like New Vista. Woohoo, right? Under Dr. Anderson's leadership, the school district has dramatically increased opportunities for students to engage in college-level courses as well as career and technical education. Jazz hands, get them up. Good. State of Colorado school finance is really easy to understand in all schools. And all schools are assured adequate resources. No way. That's a very cross face, right? Boulder Valley School District does it all alone. No need for community partners. Also false. BVSD is the place to be. Recently rated the top Colorado employer in the last 4 years. Yes, very close to the top. Thank you, thank you. All right, great. So with that, we welcome you, Dr. Anderson, to your Rotary Club. We thank you for your leadership in our district and knowing that education is the most powerful way to change lives of students and families. We support your ambitious and very important efforts.
Hi, everybody. How are you? It's been a while. I'm glad I didn't get any of those wrong. I got a little nervous, right? I should definitely, as the superintendent, be able to get those right. We'll start today's presentation, share just a little bit of information about the district, give you some updates on some of the things that we've been doing this year, and then try to leave plenty of time for questions that you might have. But as Michelle started to share with you all, we're a big organization. Lots of employees. If we were a restaurant chain, we'd be probably the largest restaurant chain in all of Boulder County. We serve 3 million meals a year, so over $700 million budget. If we were a transportation company, we'd probably transport more people than anybody, driving 1.8 million miles, over 500 square miles cover our district. And our student enrollment has been declining, and we'll talk a little bit about that and how that's going to impact the district, but a little over 28,000 students we have the honor to serve each and every day. There's one other number that I would share with you, and that's the number 9. Who knows what the number 9 stands for? The days of school left in the school year. So if you worked in the schools, you would know that. It would be 9 and change today. So we have 9 days left. We're really excited, getting ready to honor our graduates over the next couple of weeks, one of my favorite parts of the year. So 9 days left in the school year. And this week is Employee Appreciation Week. So if you know somebody who's a teacher, works in a school, reach out, tell them thank you. I would tell you that one of the things that we are adamant about in the Boulder Valley School District is our people are our strength. I've had the opportunity to work in multiple states, multiple school districts, and by far, the people that work with us here in the Boulder Valley School District are absolutely the best. How many of you are former parents, current parents, grandparents, former BVSD graduates? So I'm telling you things you already know. One of the best school districts in the state of Colorado, if not the country. If you were to compare the achievements of BVSD to similar districts across the country, we rank within the top 10, 15%. And so if you're sending your kids here, if you've sent your kids here, they get incredible opportunities, and we're working to make those even better each and every day. So we have a lot of things that have happened over the course of this past school year that I'd love to catch you up on. One of the areas where we've been making, I think, a ton of growth is within our universal preschool program. So several years ago, Governor Polis rolled out a universal preschool program for the entire state of Colorado. We've taken full advantage. This past year, we worked to double the number of kids served in universal preschool, and we're continuing to grow. It's a wonderful program. For us, we think it's a really important strategy because as soon as we can get kids into our school system, the better we can prepare them for their futures. And so we've grown programs across the district. Next year, we're moving to a 5-day-a-week program. We'd previously been kind of a 4-day-a-week program, 5-day-a-week, half-day for all students who qualify. And so we're very, very excited about the things that we've been able to do with universal preschool across our school district. How many of you know what Prop FF is? Ballot initiative that passed last year. It means that every student in the Boulder Valley School District gets free lunch each and every day. No stigma. We have one of the best school food programs in the country. We have a centralized kitchen, made from scratch meals, locally sourced. Our former chef, Chef Ann Cooper, is world renowned on the work that she did here and in other districts in regards to the school food project. So our meals are up. Kids are never hungry in our schools, and they're eating healthy meals each and every day. And I just think that it's just a huge value add that not many people know. And so healthy meals for all, just an amazing thing that we've been rolling out this year and have seen lots of success in that program. I think one of the things that I've been really passionate about, and believe it or not, I'm wrapping up my 6th year as the superintendent in BVSD, is really making sure that our schools that serve our most vulnerable students, the kids there are getting an excellent education. And I think the last time I was here, I talked to you all about some of the progress at Alicia Sanchez Elementary School. Who remembers that? If you were here, I think it's been a little bit. But they continue to do incredibly well. We created different funding sources to make sure that our kids that are being served in schools with the most vulnerable students have everything that they need. And we are the highest rated school district in the Denver metro area. And every kid, no matter where you live in BVSD, gets to go to a high quality school. There's not some good schools, some bad schools. And I'm really, really proud of that. And I'm proud of our teachers and our administrators that have made that a reality. And so it doesn't matter where folks live, they're going to get a great education in BVSD. One of the things that we've really taken on over the past couple of years is expanding our dual language and bilingual programs. I think for us it's important for all of our families and our community to know that we view being bilingual as a superpower. And that we had many of our students where Spanish was their first language were coming to school and they were losing that ability to speak Spanish. And so we've really worked hard to create bilingual pathways all throughout the district. And for our elementary schools, you can be at Columbine Elementary, University Hill Elementary, or Pioneer Elementary. And then middle schools, we've expanded to Casey Middle School, Manhattan Middle School, and Angevine Middle School is a new program this year. And so we are continuing to increase the number of students who graduate with the seal of biliteracy, meaning when they graduate from BVSD, they can speak more than one language. And we feel like that's just an amazing gift to give to our students and to our families. And so by expansion of our bilingual programs has been a big effort, and we've really seen that grow this year. 5 years ago, we embarked on a strategic plan that I've talked to this club about previously, which is All Together for All Students, really just feeding into this idea that we want all kids to grow. We want them all to be inspired by what they learn in BVSD. We want to give them what they need, so if there's any disparities in achievement, we can overcome that, and that when they leave us, they're ready to go reach all their goals and dreams. And so Inspire, Equip, and Soar are really the themes of what we've been trying to do in the Boulder Valley School District. And so this past year, we brought in an independent third party to review the work that had happened over the past 5 years with our strategic plan. As a check-in, are we still focusing on the right things, the right strategies? Are we achieving the outcomes that we're seeking? And the good news is that they felt like that we were on the right course. They recommended, and this is the recommendation that our board has taken, that we continue on this strategic plan path for the next 5 years, which is really great news, especially for our teachers and for our kids, because we're not going to stop what we're doing and start something new, right? This isn't flavor of the month. This is just doing the right work with kids in all of our schools across the district. And because of that, over the course of the past 6 months, those recommendations, we've honed in on some of our strategies to make sure that the work that we're doing in our schools is even stronger. And so we're embracing some new kind of sayings and topics in regards to what we want from our students. Number one, no limits. All students achieve, they understand and learn the standards regardless of subject or grade, and that all of our teachers are using the highest quality, most research-based and proven instructional strategies to teach each and every one of our students. That when we get a student who's struggling, that we work on what's the next best step in instruction. What do our kids need? How do we use information? How do we use how they're performing to drive what we need to teach them? How do we monitor their progress so we don't wait till the end of the year and realize there's all these things that we hoped kids would have learned in third grade, but we weren't monitoring and keeping up with it. And this is how kids fall behind when you don't do those check-ins and kind of those quality checks on what your kids are learning. That we really need to define the destination. Where is it that we're hoping that our kids are prepared for to go? I've talked to this group about Grad Plus before. I believe you all had a presentation from Arlie Huffman talking about some of the wonderful things we're doing in career and technical education, and then also this idea of career exploration, and that we feel like that for all of our students, we don't want them to be just book smart. Right, we want them when they graduate to have a sense of what the world of work looks like, have been able to try on some ideas through career exploration through their time in BVSD, and really have a sense of where they want to be when they leave beyond just their core academic subjects. And this is really important to us, is that we want to make sure all kids feel valued and included. And that means welcoming classrooms, restorative practices, and proportional discipline. You know, we've worked really, really hard to make sure that regardless of what neighborhood you're living in, your culture, that when you come to the school district, when you come to BVSD, we're treating you fairly, and you're learning from your mistakes and not being overly punitive. And so this idea of restorative practices has really overhauled the ways that we think about helping kids learn from their mistakes so they can be better students, better citizens in our community. And so we roll a lot of this, especially as we think about this value and included and define the destination, into our Grad Plus initiative. And I know that you all have heard about this, but again, the big idea is a high school diploma is not enough. If you're graduating in 2024 and you want to be ready for college and career, and most of our kids go on to college, but not all of them, and some of our kids are ready to jump into a career, that we need to think about, what do we provide? What's the value we provide for our students beyond just getting core academics? What do they graduate with besides a high school diploma? And for us, that's work-based learning or career exploration, having a high-quality work-based learning experience, whether it's an internship, apprenticeship, job shadow, field trips, knowing and understanding, even starting in elementary school where some of our programming starts. You know, what is it that I want to be? What do I want to do when I grow up? This idea of industry certification, and so if I am going to go to work, I don't have to take a job when I graduate, but I'm prepared to be on a path for a career, and there's a definite difference. Again, I've talked to you about the power of being bilingual and the seal of biliteracy, and one of the areas I think that we've made more progress than any other area is really expanding kids' ability to earn college credit before graduation. And we've made great strides over the past several years with our most vulnerable kids, for whatever reason, weren't getting the same opportunities to take those college classes. And so we've taken we've made great progress in making sure that kids can get credit through Front Range, in addition to advanced placement courses, international baccalaureate courses, with the idea that if kids who might not know that they're going to go to college, if they can see success in college courses at high school before they leave us, it gives them the confidence to know they can do it. And it gives them that belief in themselves that's so critical. And so that's an area where we're really proud that we've made a lot of progress. And then finally, one of the things that I think that we're very thankful for all of our voters and for our entire community is supporting our 2022 bond initiative, which was supported by 70% of the voters across our community, to make sure that we have high-quality facilities that create the learning opportunities and the environments and experiences we want for all of our kids. We're very grateful and thankful to live in a community that values education so much. And we have been hard at work making sure that we did lots of improvements at many of our buildings, and some of these were just critical needs work, and then also some new additional work to create just great environments for our kids to learn and thrive. You know, one of the things that I think one of the really neat projects that as part of this bond was really thinking about our playgrounds and making sure that they were accessible for all students, that they were ADA accessible. We were finding that some of our special needs students weren't being able to play with their friends during recess or before or after school because of some of our playground structures. And so we've really worked hard to make those playgrounds inclusive and just great places for kids to get to know one another, to play, and to build that camaraderie that's such an important part of school, especially as kids are in our youngest ages. How many of you have seen New Vista? Broadway, Baseline, the old Baseline Middle School, Baseline Junior High. Anybody go to Baseline Junior High? There you go, love it. Well, we're tearing it down. Because it's old, and New Vista High School, which has been learning in that building for quite some time, deserves a state-of-the-art facility. And for those of you who don't know what New Vista is, it's an alternative experience in high school for our students. Smaller environment, more personalized, started, I believe, 30 years ago. This year they're celebrating the 30th anniversary of New Vista High School. And we're building them a state-of-the-art facility that will hold 350 students. We're incredibly excited about the progress, and we had a really good fall. Not a lot of snow, not too much rain. We were able to make incredible progress. Our hope is that students will be able to move in there over winter break around December of 2024. And so just kudos to the construction team and to the kids and faculty out there. They're finally going to have the facility they deserve that matches the incredible opportunities they provide for kids each and every day. As we think about career and technical education and how our learning spaces are a big part of how we can provide those opportunities for kids, we're rebranding what you may know as VOTEC into Accelerate. You know, the idea is that we want kids to be able to accelerate what it is they want to do in their time here in BVSD, especially at their time in middle and high school, where oftentimes kids feel like they're in this holding pattern, waiting to graduate so they can do what they want to do. We feel like that's a waste of time, and we don't have time to waste for students. And so we're excited to launch Accelerate. And what we're doing is we're revamping our technical education center, which is right next to the education center right down the road here on Arapahoe. And in each one of our high schools, we're really reaching into what we would consider high needs areas in our community that also create above average livable wages for our students once they graduate. And so you can see some of the programs that we'll be adding to BVSD over the next several years. It's really, really exciting. And whether it's applied technology, computer science, engineering, STEM, AI, immersive technology, health science, outdoor rec, agriculture, outdoor leadership. We had kids help us decide what programs we wanted to offer, and then we worked with the Boulder Chamber to see where will the jobs be for these students when they graduate from their high school. And so very, very excited about this. Each one of these schools will have customized labs that will allow kids to further their studies in all of these areas. And we feel like that it's just a huge benefit for the students across the Boulder Valley School District. As you can see, just some examples as we think about what these spaces will look like. And we're really trying to think about, for our middle school programs and our high school programs, aligning those. And so if you're at Angevine, how are you starting to learn about engineering, IT, STEAM? So when you get to high school, you can benefit from the programming at Centaurus High School. And we've created these pathways at several of our high schools, whether it's Broomfield Heights and Broomfield High School. And so as we think about the project construction schedule for these projects, we're starting this summer. And as you can see, over the next 4 years, we're really excited about how those will really transform the high school experience. And I think that's a really important, especially in this day and age, as we try to continue to keep kids engaged and interested and liking school. And we feel like these programs will do that for us a lot. And so I think this is maybe the last topic and one of the trickiest topics for us, and that's our declining enrollment. How many of you have read about declining enrollment, BVSD, whether it's in the Daily Camera? We've put out a lot of information. I think that enrollment is declining across the country, and Boulder Valley is no exception. And so year over year, we're continuing to serve less and less students. What does that mean? It means it creates inefficiencies within our budgeting, within our staffing, and creates buildings that used to be filled with kids that are now shrinking and shrinking in enrollment. And so 2 years ago, and just to give you a little sense of what this looks like, and you could see, anybody remember what happened in 2020? Still have nightmares about that every once in a while. In 2020, obviously it was COVID-19 pandemic. And while we were able to recover some of our student enrollment, that was a time where I think a lot of families left our community. A lot of kids left our community, or they opted for options that they find are working for them better now, whether it was homeschool or private school. And so we're losing about 200-300 kids a year, but in 2020, that was a real big jump in our declining enrollment. As we've really started to tackle how do we address this, and I've been working really closely with our school board, we've really thought about how do you solve declining enrollment in a state like Colorado and in a community like Boulder Valley. So if I were, for those who don't know, before I was here, I was a deputy superintendent in Atlanta, Georgia. And when we had enrollment shifts, and it was hard, it was never easy, what we would do is we'd pull our community together and redraw the attendance lines to make sure that we redistributed the students in ways that made sense, right? So we could be good stewards of taxpayer dollars and provide the kids the opportunities that they need. One of the challenges in Colorado is that there's a state law that students, as long as there's room, can go to any school in the state of Colorado regardless of where they live. How many of you knew that? Of course, your BVSD parents, because 1 in 3 BVSD parents doesn't go to their home school, even though all of our home schools are amazing. So it creates a challenge in how do you begin to address declining enrollment in a way that's fiscally responsible, in a way that doesn't upend communities, in a way provides parents what it is they're looking for in regards to school choice. And so we've been looking at our open enrollment policy, our attendance boundaries, and our schools of choice to figure out how can we mix those things together so when we have a school that's declining in enrollment, we can create the right set of conditions for their enrollment to grow while the schools around them aren't depleted. Right? It's pretty complicated. We've been working with a long-range advisory committee for the course of the past 18 months. It's a committee that we went out to our community and asked for folks to volunteer who would like to help us, tackle this big, gnarly problem of declining enrollment. They've made really great recommendations. One of the biggest recommendations is that we need to be proactive. We need to not wait, right, until we're in a desperate situation and then we're rushing through decisions that ultimately get rejected by community or school board. How many of you have seen that in the paper? What happens when you try to go too fast with school closures? I still hear about the times where we closed schools in BVSD in 2003. I didn't know if someone was going to yell. I had a big passionate memory of that. In any event, we think we can do it better. We think we can do it better than when we did back then, and I think you do that by being proactive, engaging our brilliant community, being honest with people. So one of the things that we do now is every February, we create a list for our community. Here's the schools where enrollment's declining to the point where we're less than 2 teachers per grade level in elementary school. And we're really focused on elementary school now because that's where this enrollment bubble is hitting us first. And we're looking at schools that have less than 50% capacity, meaning half the building's empty and there's only 2 teachers per grade. Because the less teachers you have per grade, the more expensive your administration, your electives, your opportunities, and those begin to shrink if you want to be fiscally responsible. And so based on that LRAC recommendation, we've been creating these reports. We will do this annually. And then we have 2 categories, an enrollment advisory phase or a community engagement phase. Enrollment advisory is you're getting close, you're not quite there yet, but your enrollment's shrinking. And community engagement is we have a problem. And so right now we're engaging Heatherwood Elementary School. We had our first meeting several months back, and I was so encouraged. We had hundreds and hundreds of parents show up. And want to engage in what we need to do together to create the right conditions to increase enrollment and return Heatherwood into a thriving neighborhood school. And so we're working through those processes. We'll have our solutions in early fall, right in time for our October BVSD is the place to be showcase. This is something that we did new this past year where we rent out the CU Event Center. And we have all of our schools come in one place and share with our entire community and folks that are coming from private school and even outside of our community who want to come to BVSD. They get to see all the amazing schools, talk to teachers, talk to kids, talk to principals. We had over 1,000 people attend this past year when we did it the first year in October, and we've never had higher enrollment from out-of-district students, and we have so many students coming back from private school that we know and understand that the strategy is working. So in addition to the reports, in addition to the phases, in addition to the BVSD is the place to be showcase, that will continue to study what are the right policies that allow us to drive kids to the right schools. We know that 15% of the students or school-age students that live in our community don't go to BVSD, and we want them all back. We want them all back, and so that's our effort. And so, ultimately, we may have to get to a point where we're going to have to consolidate schools and make some very hard decisions. And if we get there, we hope it's in partnership, not the superintendent saying, hey, close these 5 schools, you don't have any other choice. And unfortunately, we've seen that play out in the Denver Metro, and I've seen it play around out in the country. We're better than that, and we can do better than that if we partner together. So if you were to wonder where is the enrollment declining, I think it's all throughout the district. You can see that the school in red, that's Heatherwood. We, over the next 5 years, project to the number of schools, start to begin to get into kind of Boulder proper, South Boulder, and then even in Broomfield as we think out to 26, 27. Again, no surprises, no secrets. We're really trying to be transparent. And again, these are based on trends that we're hoping to change each and every year through our programming, through the quality of our schools, through the efforts around recruitment and our BVSD is the place to be showcase and open enrollment processes. And so, thanks, Carl. That's what I needed. Because I'm right at the end. See, there you go. I just want to end by thanking you all for what you do as Rotarians. Thank you so much for your support of our school district, for sending your kids to our schools, to telling your neighbors how great our schools are, and for staying involved even if you have kids that are already through our system. And so I appreciate each and every one of you. It is my honor to serve this community and would love to open the floor for any questions.
Hi, actually, at the AV table. I actually wanted to touch on the lunches. I think that's a really cool proposition. My brother and I really relied on school lunches and my mom being approved for it and stuff like that. So I was actually curious how it works, because you said you have like a chef or somebody who like makes the lunches. Do they get made at one place and then shipped out to all the schools? Because at all the high schools I went to in California, they were all just made on site, not great lunches. So I was just curious about that.
Absolutely. We in our last bond program built a central kitchen right behind the Ed Center. So made from scratch, like a massive chef's kitchen. We actually have a teaching kitchen so we can expand the culinary programs for our students, and that'll be happening next year. But locally sourced, fresh, salad bars at each one of our schools, all you can drink milk, and kids just don't go hungry, and if you want seconds, we don't say no. And like you, I grew up, I was a free and reduced lunch kid, and no stigma, no punch card. You don't have to enter a number, pick up your food and go. And I think it's really changed the dynamics in our schools. I really appreciate that.
Dr. Anderson, can you speak about the immigrant experience in Boulder Valley School District and what has been the effect on enrollment? Must not be too much.
More than you'd think. I want to say that we have had close to 600 students. We refer to them as newcomers, and who are coming to us from other countries, oftentimes with massive trauma. I've had a chance to really visit with a lot of those students, especially our students at high school who can articulate it, and it's challenging and sad, everything they've been through. We have newcomer programs at Arapahoe Ridge High School, Boulder High School, and Centaurus High School. Those students are in a sheltered program, so a couple of periods during the day, they're with a teacher that specializes in serving newcomer students where English is a second language, and then we integrate them into the school day so they can get that experience as well. It used to be we only had one center in our district, and it was only at Arapahoe Ridge, and they didn't get that full high school experience. We felt like that was wrong, and so we've made those adjustments. We actually had Colorado Department of Education came to study our model several months ago, and so we're really excited. We don't know what the future holds in regards to newcomers, but we're ready to serve each and every one who comes to BVSD. I appreciate the question. Thank you.
Thanks so much for speaking today. This is sort of an interesting question, or sort of random, but I'm curious, for kids growing up these days in maybe elementary schools, what are they saying that they want to do when they're older? What's their sort of, like, is there something that people are like, this is what I want to do? Because when I was in school, it was like, I wanted to be a marine biologist, you know? I'm just curious about what kids are thinking these days like that.
You know, it's great. First of all, great question. And next year, for all of our own elementary school students across the state, across the district, we're going to be having what we call Dare to Dream Week, where we ask kids that exact question. That happened this year at Flatirons Elementary School, and our kids think big here in Boulder Valley. You know, some of the things that they'd want to study or do are just amazing. Lots of interest in climate change, lots of interest in changing the world. But I would encourage, and maybe this is an opportunity as we think about next year, potentially partnering with this club around how could you support some of the Dare to Dream work that we're doing, because it's going to be really neat. So keep an eye out for that in the fall. But our kids dream big, and they think about how do they solve big world problems, and it's just really inspiring.
Rob, thank you for coming. One question. What has been the trend with graduation rates?
Graduation rates have stayed high, above 90%, some of the highest graduation rates in the state. I would say that one of the things that we're working on right now with our board is graduation requirements, making those, really raising the bar for all students around what does it take to graduate and be ready. And that's something you'll be reading about in the papers and through some of the things that we put out. High graduation rates. We have great comprehensive high schools, and we have tons of alternative options for students, probably more than than any district of our size that I know of. So kids can find their right fit and graduate and be ready to go. But incredibly high graduation rates. Appreciate the question.
I think we have time for one more question.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've been reading in the Daily Camera that there's legislation happening at the state level to reallocate state funds between districts in different ways, and that Boulder Valley School District has been opposed to that legislation. Could you talk a little bit about that?
How much time we got? I would say that House Bill 1448, 241448. Am I getting too specific already? There's laughter. Change the formula. This is the easiest way that I can explain this. Right? The old school finance formula used cost of living factor as a multiplier. So in really expensive places to live, and where goods and services and labor is expensive, that multiplier allowed us to do things like have the highest average teacher salary in the state of Colorado. Right? Allowed us to do really intensive and thoughtful things around programming. And with that passing, the formula changes, and so they take the dollars that were applied to that multiplier and they put them more into at-risk factors. And so I think for us, the biggest piece, 90% of the money that we spend is on people. And we have a very lean central administration, and most of the money is within our teacher's salary schedule, and most of the money is in our classrooms. And I would say the impact will be that we're going to have to rethink our teacher's salary schedule, and that's going to be the biggest impact. We've been working closely with, and we have great relationships with our teachers' union, Boulder Valley Education Association, and so we're starting those conversations now.
Dr. Anderson, I am the fortunate one to thank you for coming to visit us today and speaking. I'm blown away with how much is going on in BVSD, all these programs that I thought I was aware of most of them, but you certainly opened my eyes quite a bit. And I don't think you could do your job unless you were a Rotarian. Service
right.
above self comes
That's
with
right.
the job.
That's right.
And we want to thank you here as being a member of Boulder Rotary and for all the support you give us, because you know us as Rotarians, we want to give back.
That's right.
Our whole reason for living is to support, and we love kids. And there's so many programs that we've support BVSD here with Boulder Rotary, and we want to add to them. But your support from the top is how it all works. So we appreciate that. And you know this drill. What we're giving you today is 100, in your honor, 100 doses of vaccine to the Polio Plus Fund. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. Pleasure.